This book is over 200 pages long, and you'll learn all of the key insights in just a few minutes, going chapter by chapter. The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone is for anyone who wants to achieve extraordinary success by thinking bigger, taking massive action, and breaking free from the limits of average effort, showing you exactly how to dominate your goals and outperform expectations in every area of life. Chapter 1. What is the 10X Rule? The 10X Rule is all about thinking and acting at levels far beyond what most people consider normal. It's the idea that in order to achieve extraordinary success, you need to set goals that are 10 times bigger than what you think is realistic, and take 10 times the amount of effort you believe is required. Most people fail because they underestimate the level of work, commitment, and persistence needed to accomplish their goals. Cardone stresses that success demands an obsession with action and excellence. As he says, if you want to get to the next level, you must think and act in a wildly different way than you previously have. Average effort doesn't cut it because, as he puts it, average levels of action fail to create momentum, and momentum is critical for success. Think about this. If you set a small goal, like making $10,000, you'll likely put in enough effort just to get close to it. But if you aim for $100,000, you'll push harder, think bigger, and even if you miss, you'll likely achieve much more than you originally aimed for. The key takeaway here is to expand your vision and multiply your effort. Set goals that are 10 times bigger than what you initially consider possible. Adopt massive action as your new baseline for effort. If you think something will take 1 hour, plan to spend 10. This mindset ensures that you will not only meet challenges, but completely overwhelm them with your persistence. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Chapter 2. Why the 10X Rule is vital. Now, why is the 10X Rule so essential? This chapter explains that life is full of challenges, setbacks, and unforeseen competition. If you settle for average, you're unprepared for the resistance that comes your way. Average effort leads to average results, which creates a cycle of mediocrity that leaves you unfulfilled and stuck. Cardone warns us about the dangers of setting small, realistic goals. When you underestimate the effort required, you're more likely to get blindsided by obstacles. As he says, you must set targets that are 10 times what you think you want, and then do 10 times what you think it will take to accomplish those targets. By overestimating your goals and effort, you ensure that you're prepared for whatever comes your way. Think of it like training for a marathon. If you only train to run 10 miles, you'll never complete the full race. But if you train for 50 miles, you'll not only finish strong, but you'll exceed your expectations. Here's what to do. Re-examine your current goals. Are they too small? Are they designed to keep you in a safe space? Multiply them by 10. Prepare for setbacks by taking massive action and committing to over-delivering. Success doesn't happen because you're lucky. It happens because you've eliminated mediocrity and outworked every obstacle in your path. Chapter 3. What is success? Cardone redefines what success really means. Many people think of success as achieving financial goals, but it's much more than that. Success applies to every area of life: your relationships, health, personal growth, and career. It's not a single moment or achievement. It's a continuous process of effort, momentum, and improvement. Cardone insists that success must be seen as a duty, not just a personal choice. He states, "Success is your duty, obligation, and responsibility. It's not something you try for, it's something you commit to." There's no finish line because success is about consistently creating success. There's no quitting point. Think of it like maintaining a healthy lifestyle. You don't work out and eat well for just 1 week and expect to be fit forever. You stay consistent. Success works the same way. It requires constant, focused effort over time. To live this out, start by adopting the mindset that success isn't optional. It's something you owe to yourself and others. Set goals across all areas of your life, not just your career, to ensure balance and fulfillment. View success as an ongoing journey, one where every milestone is a stepping stone to even greater achievements. Chapter 4. Success is your duty. Cardone presents a powerful idea. Success is not a luxury or a bonus. It's a duty, an obligation, and a responsibility. It's not something that happens to you. As he puts it, success is not something that happens to you. It's something that happens because of you and because of the actions you take. Many people treat success as an optional goal, or worse, downplay its importance. This mindset leads directly to mediocrity. Cardone urges you to quit lying to yourself about what's acceptable. He says, quit lying to yourself and pretending that being average is acceptable. When you see success as non-negotiable, you unlock a level of drive and focus you've never had before. Imagine someone building a business while treating success like a hobby. They might work when it's convenient, stop at the first setback, or avoid taking risks. Now, picture someone who treats success as their duty. They work relentlessly, they find solutions to problems, and they refuse to quit because their survival and the well-being of their family depend on it. That's the difference in mindset. Here's what you can do. Stop treating success as optional and commit to it fully. Recognize that your success impacts not just you, but those around you, your family, team, and even your community. Eliminate excuses and align your actions with your belief that success is a responsibility you owe to yourself and others. Chapter 5. There is no shortage of success. Chapter 5 challenges a common misconception that success is limited. Cardone dismantles this belief, explaining that success is not like a pie with a fixed number of slices. He says, the reality is that there's no shortage of success, just a shortage of people taking the necessary actions. The scarcity mindset, the belief that there's only so much success to go around, holds people back. It creates unnecessary competition, fear, and hesitation. But Cardone shows us that success actually expands the more people pursue it. Success breeds success, creating new opportunities and results. Think about the rise of technology companies. When one company creates a successful product, it doesn't eliminate opportunities for others. Instead, it opens the door for complementary innovations, new tools, services, and solutions. The same is true in your personal and professional life. To overcome the scarcity mindset, replace it with a belief in abundance. Success is available to anyone who takes massive, consistent action. Don't worry about competition. Focus on creating opportunities and results. By acting boldly and consistently, you'll claim your share of success without limiting yourself. Chapter 6. Assume control for everything. Cardone makes a simple yet life-changing point. You must take full responsibility for everything in your life, both good and bad. He explains that taking control gives you the power to change outcomes. When you start to approach everything in your life with the attitude that it's your responsibility, you will start to make better decisions and take more action. This idea is about accountability. When you blame others, external factors, or circumstances, you give up control. You're essentially saying that your life is determined by things outside of you. Cardone flips this thinking and says, control equals responsibility, and responsibility equals control. Imagine someone who constantly complains about the economy, their boss, or bad luck. They've surrendered control. Now think of someone who owns every aspect of their life. If their business is struggling, they find solutions. If they fail, they learn and adjust. By assuming control, they empower themselves to succeed. To apply this, start by owning everything in your life. Don't blame the economy, people, or setbacks. Instead, see failures as opportunities to learn and improve. Focus on what you can control, your actions, mindset, and decisions. This shift will give you the power to create the success you want. Chapter 7. 4 Degrees of Action. Cardone introduces the 4 degrees of action: no action, retreat, average action, and massive action. Most people fall into the trap of average action. They do just enough to get by, but not enough to succeed. Cardone warns us, massive action is the antidote to average thinking and average results. No action means doing nothing. Retreating is even worse. It's backing away from challenges out of fear or resistance. Average action feels productive, but it fails to create momentum, which is crucial for success. Only massive action, relentless, consistent, and over-the-top effort produces the results you want. As Cardone says, taking action is not enough. You must take the right levels of action that guarantee you will achieve your goals. Think about the difference between a person who makes 5 sales calls a day and one who makes 50. The person taking massive action not only creates momentum, but also increases their chances of success exponentially. Here's what you need to do. Avoid average action like the plague. Commit to taking massive action every day. When you notice yourself retreating or procrastinating, correct your course immediately. Develop the mindset that massive action isn't optional. It's the minimum requirement for success. Chapter 8. Average is a failing formula. Cardone delivers a hard truth. Average thinking and actions are a recipe for failure. He explains that while society often rewards mediocrity, it creates complacency and limits our true potential. The danger with average effort is that it tricks you into believing you're doing enough. As Cardone warns, the most dangerous level of action is average. It's enough to feel like you're doing something, but not enough to create success. The problem with average is that it doesn't build momentum or resilience. Think about it. If you're in a room where everyone is performing at an average level, no one stands out. Average doesn't dominate markets, win championships, or create legendary businesses. Cardone puts it bluntly, average is a failing formula. If you're not first, you're last. So what can you do? Start by identifying the areas of your life where you're settling for average. Maybe it's your work performance, health, or finances. Commit to pushing beyond that comfort zone and taking massive action. Break free from societal norms that glorify mediocrity. Remember, anything less than extraordinary effort will hold you back in a competitive world. The goal here is not to survive, it's to dominate and thrive. Chapter 9. 10x Goals. Chapter 9 is all about setting goals that are so big they inspire massive action. Cardone argues that most people fail because they aim too low, setting realistic goals that lack motivation. He reminds us, never reduce a target. Instead, increase actions to achieve it. When you aim for a small goal, you put in just enough effort to get close, and even a minor setback can derail your progress. For example, let's say your goal is to earn $50,000 this year. If you hit a setback, you'll end up short and disappointed. But if your goal is $500,000, you'll naturally take bigger actions and think differently. Even if you fall short, you're likely to earn far more than you would have with a smaller target. Cardone describes this mistake as one of the most common. The greatest mistake most people make is not setting goals high enough. Here's what you need to do. Take your current goals and multiply them by 10. If your goal is to get 10 new clients, aim for 100. Don't scale down your targets to match your current level of action. Scale up your action to meet those massive goals. This approach inspires you to work harder, think bigger, and achieve results that others consider unrealistic. Chapter 10. Competition is for sissies. Cardone challenges the idea of competition and explains why it limits your potential. Competing with others keeps you focused on them instead of creating your own lane. Cardone's advice is simple. Don't compete, dominate. Competition is a sign of mediocrity. When you dominate, you operate at such a high level that others can't keep up. Think of Apple. They didn't focus on competing with other phone manufacturers. Instead, they created products that revolutionized the market and set the standard for innovation. By aiming for domination, they made competition irrelevant. Cardone emphasizes, you want to be in a league of your own where others try to compete with you and fail. So how do you achieve this? First, stop comparing yourself to others. Focus on dominating your field by becoming the absolute best at what you do. Look for ways to differentiate yourself. Create unique value that others can't replicate. Work to become omnipresent, meaning your presence and influence are felt everywhere. When you dominate, competition disappears and success becomes inevitable. Chapter 11. Breaking out of the middle class. Cardone addresses a mindset that holds many people back. The middle class mentality. Cardone explains that the middle class is a dangerous place to remain because it encourages complacency and limits financial freedom. As he puts it, the middle class is where most dreams go to die. The middle class is built around survival and comfort, not abundance or growth. Many people settle for a steady job, a comfortable house, and just enough money to get by. But this illusion of security is a trap. True financial security comes from thinking and acting beyond middle-class norms. Cardone's advice is clear. The goal should be complete financial freedom, not the illusion of security. To break out of the middle class, you need to challenge beliefs that keep you stuck. Stop thinking in terms of just enough and start aiming for true wealth. Set financial goals that force you to take massive action and go beyond what feels comfortable. Focus on creating multiple streams of income so you're not dependent on one source. This mindset shift allows you to create real freedom and opportunity for yourself and your family. Chapter 12. Obsession isn't a disease. It's a gift. Obsession is often seen as a negative trait. How many times have you heard people say, "You're working too hard," or "Don't be so obsessed"? In Chapter 12, Grant Cardone flips this on its head and tells us that obsession is the most powerful tool you have for success. He argues that obsession is the most valuable tool you have to dominate your field. Think about any highly successful person, athletes like Michael Jordan, artists like Beyonce, or innovators like Elon Musk. What sets them apart? It's their obsession. They are completely focused on their craft, their goals, and their mission. Society may criticize this kind of drive, but Cardone points out that obsession is what separates average people from the elite. As he says, people will call you obsessed, but obsessed is a trait of greatness. The key here is to channel your obsession into productive, goal-oriented actions. Let it fuel your focus, energy, and persistence. When others say, "That's impossible," let your obsession push you to prove them wrong. Embrace it as a gift, not a flaw, and ignore anyone who doesn't understand your level of commitment. Ask yourself, what are you obsessed with? Is it building a business, mastering a skill, or achieving financial freedom? Use that obsession to drive you forward every single day. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Chapter 13. Go all in and overcommit. Chapter 13 builds on the idea of obsession by introducing the concept of going all in. Success demands total commitment, and Grant Cardone tells us that playing it safe limits opportunities for growth. He explains, overcommitment is the only way to ensure success. When you commit fully, you discover new levels of creativity and persistence. Think about a time when you truly committed to something, whether it was a fitness goal, a new project, or a big life decision. Did you notice how resourceful and driven you became? That's the power of overcommitment. When you go all in, you push past your comfort zone and uncover abilities you didn't know you had. Cardone warns against half-hearted effort, saying, "Never approach anything half-heartedly. Overcommit, overdeliver, and dominate." If you take on a project, don't aim to simply complete it. Aim to blow everyone's expectations out of the water. This mindset guarantees success because you're not holding back. Here's what you need to do. Fully commit to your goals without hesitation. If you say you're going to do something, over-deliver. Treat every task, no matter how small, as an opportunity to demonstrate your best. Adopting this all-in attitude will push you to levels of success you never thought possible. Chapter 14. Expand, never contract. Cardone introduces a powerful response to challenges: expansion. Most people, when faced with difficulties, contract. They scale back their efforts, play it safe, or avoid risks. Cardone argues that this is a mistake, saying, never contract in response to challenges. Expansion is the only path to domination. When you retreat or contract, you lose momentum. It's like a business during an economic downturn that cuts costs, lays off employees, and waits for things to improve. Meanwhile, a competitor might double down, investing in marketing, new talent, and new products. Who do you think will dominate when the economy rebounds? The one who expanded. Cardone warns that contraction guarantees long-term setbacks. If you pull back, you give your competition a chance to overtake you. Instead, the solution is to expand aggressively, especially when times are tough. He puts it clearly: contracting guarantees you will lose momentum and give competitors the chance to overtake you. To apply this, commit to expansion no matter what. If you face a challenge, don't scale back. Push harder. Increase your efforts, look for growth opportunities, and focus on dominating your space. Expansion ensures you maintain momentum, adapt to changes, and continue achieving success. Chapter 15. Burn the place down. Cardone introduces the idea of burning the ships, which means eliminating all fallback plans and excuses. He argues that success requires total commitment, and you can't fully commit if you're holding on to safety nets. Cardone explains, when you remove all options for retreat, your focus and commitment become unstoppable. The idea comes from a historical example. When an army landed on enemy shores, their leader would sometimes burn their ships to ensure there was no way to retreat. The soldiers had no choice but to move forward and fight to win. The same principle applies to success. When failure is not an option, you unlock new levels of creativity, determination, and focus. As Cardone says, success comes when you have no choice but to succeed. Think about this. If you're building a business while holding on to a backup plan, how committed are you really? That backup plan makes it easier to quit when things get tough. Cardone's advice is simple. Remove all excuses and safety nets. Eliminate the option to retreat so that you have no choice but to achieve your goals. To apply this, start by identifying any fallback plans you're holding on to. Whether it's a secondary goal, a backup job, or an excuse, let it go. Commit fully to your goals and approach every opportunity as if failure is not an option. When you focus entirely on success, you'll find a way to make it happen. Chapter 16. Fear is the great indicator. Fear is something we all experience. It's instinctual. It shows up when we face something unknown or challenging. But what if I told you that fear is actually pointing you in the right direction? In this chapter, Grant Cardone explains that fear often highlights areas of opportunity and growth. He says, what you fear most is often what you most need to do. Successful people use fear as a signal to take action, not to retreat. Let's say you've been avoiding a tough phone call or a risky decision because it makes you nervous. Cardone would tell you that your fear is a compass. It's showing you exactly where you need to grow. When you face those fears head-on, you break past your limitations. He reframes fear as a growth tool. Fear is an indicator. Do not avoid it, but use it as a compass to grow. So, how do you put this into action? Start by identifying what you fear the most. Maybe it's speaking up in meetings, starting a business, or taking on a new challenge. Whatever it is, commit to taking action immediately. Use your fear as fuel to stretch beyond your comfort zone. Remember, every time you conquer fear, you expand your abilities and open doors to new opportunities. Chapter 17. The myth of time management. Time management is a buzzword we hear all the time. Everyone wants to manage their time better. But in Chapter 17, Cardone makes it clear you can't control time. What you can control are your priorities and your actions. He says, the problem is not time management, it's priority management. The truth is, time will always move forward. You can't slow it down or create more of it. What separates successful people is their ability to focus on what matters most. They don't obsess over rigid schedules or micromanaging every minute of the day. Instead, they maximize productivity by prioritizing high-impact tasks. Cardone points out, focus on actions, not time. It's the results of actions that matter. Think about your own day. Do you spend hours planning your schedule, but little time actually producing results? If so, it's time to shift your focus. Prioritize the tasks that move the needle, those big actions that bring you closer to your goals. Don't make excuses about time. Stop overthinking and start producing results immediately. At the end of the day, success isn't measured by how well you managed your time. It's measured by the outcomes you created. Chapter 18. Criticism is a sign of success. Let's face it, no one likes being criticized. It can feel personal and discouraging. But in Chapter 18, Cardone teaches us to see criticism differently. He says, criticism is not something to fear, but a sign that you are doing something significant. When you start taking massive action, you're going to attract attention, both good and bad. Some people will cheer you on, but others will criticize you. Cardone makes it clear, if no one is criticizing you, you're probably playing too small. As he puts it, if you aren't getting criticized, you aren't taking big enough actions. Consider successful entrepreneurs, celebrities, or athletes, anyone who has achieved something great. They face constant criticism, but they don't let it stop them. Instead, they use it as proof that they're making an impact. The takeaway here is simple. Don't fear criticism. Embrace it as a sign that you're pushing boundaries and standing out. Here's how to put this into practice. Take bold actions that attract attention. If you receive negative feedback, don't let it derail you. Instead, use it as fuel to improve and stay focused on your goals. Criticism is a natural part of success, and the more you welcome it, the closer you are to dominating your field. Chapter 19. Customer satisfaction is the wrong target. While it's important to keep customers happy, Cardone argues that satisfaction isn't enough. Instead, you should aim to exceed expectations and dominate your market. He explains, never stop at customer satisfaction. Always aim to deliver something far beyond what's expected. Think about it this way. If a customer is merely satisfied, they won't necessarily remember you, return to you, or refer you to others. But when you go above and beyond, when you wow them, you create loyalty and make yourself unforgettable. Cardone says, you don't want to satisfy customers, you want to wow them. Here's an example. Imagine ordering a product online. You expect it to arrive in a few days, but it shows up the next morning with a handwritten thank you note. That's exceeding expectations, and it makes you want to keep coming back. Cardone argues that this level of over-delivery is what leads to growth, success, and domination. So what can you do? Focus on wowing your customers in every interaction. Don't just meet their needs. Anticipate them and exceed them. Over-deliver on your promises so that you stand out from the competition. By consistently delivering extraordinary value, you position yourself as the most reliable and exceptional option in your market. Chapter 20. Omnipresence. Imagine walking into a store and seeing a brand everywhere, on the shelves, on social media, in advertisements, and on billboards. That's omnipresence, and Grant Cardone says it's a key factor for massive success. In this chapter, he argues that to truly dominate your market, you must be visible and influential everywhere. Cardone explains, if you're not everywhere, you're nowhere. Omnipresence is achieved by taking relentless action to ensure that people cannot ignore you. Whether you're an entrepreneur, an artist, or a professional, the goal is to saturate your industry with your message, your value, and your presence. Cardone says, success is about becoming so visible and dominant that people can't help but think of you. So how do you achieve omnipresence? First, increase your visibility by using every platform and resource available to promote your message. Be on social media, build relationships, and ensure your work is everywhere your audience is looking. Create a consistent and memorable presence so that when someone thinks about your field, they think about you first. Don't let competitors dominate the conversation. Commit to being everywhere at all times so you stand out and lead the way. Chapter 21. Excuses. Next, let's talk about excuses. Those little stories we tell ourselves to justify why we haven't taken action. Grant Cardone makes it clear in Chapter 21. Excuses are the biggest barrier to success. He warns, excuses are the stories we tell ourselves to justify not taking action. When you allow excuses to control your decisions, you weaken your resolve and stop yourself from achieving your goals. Successful people don't make excuses. Instead, they take full responsibility for their outcomes and focus on solutions. Cardone reminds us, success doesn't accept excuses, it only rewards action. Here's an example. Let's say you didn't hit your sales goal this month. An unsuccessful mindset would blame the economy, competition, or lack of time. A successful mindset, on the other hand, would ask, what can I do differently to improve next month? The takeaway is simple. Eliminate excuses entirely. Identify any excuses you've been using as a crutch and replace them with solutions and actions. Take responsibility for your results, no matter the circumstances, and keep moving forward. Remember, excuses lead to inaction, and inaction leads to failure. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Chapter 22. Successful or unsuccessful? What separates successful people from those who fail? In Chapter 22, Grant Cardone breaks it down for us. Success is defined by specific traits, habits, and attitudes that set achievers apart. Successful people focus on action, persistence, and results, while unsuccessful people often make excuses, avoid challenges, and stay stuck in their comfort zones. Cardone outlines 32 key attributes of successful individuals. You can see all of them outlined here in the mind map. But for example, successful people have a can-do attitude, which means they approach every situation with confidence and a belief that they can figure things out. They also focus on opportunities rather than problems and see challenges as chances to grow and improve. Another important trait is persistence. Successful people commit to their goals and refuse to stop until they achieve them. They take risks, embrace change, and always push themselves to go beyond average. As Cardone says, the difference between successful and unsuccessful people is in how they approach challenges and opportunities. So how can you apply this to your life? Start by adopting the habits of successful people. Commit to taking action even when it's uncomfortable. Develop a can-do attitude and focus on solutions instead of problems. Most importantly, persist until you reach your goals, no matter how long it takes. Success is about consistent habits, and anyone can achieve it if they're willing to put in the work. Chapter 23, Getting Started with 10x. Finally, in Chapter 23, Cardone shows us how to apply the 10x rule to our lives. Success begins with a decision. You must commit to massive thinking and massive action. He reminds us, success begins with a decision to go all in. Commit first and figure the rest out later. One of the biggest hurdles people face is simply getting started. They overthink, make excuses, or wait for the perfect time. Cardone's advice? Stop waiting and start taking action now. He says, the hardest part of success is getting started. Take action now and adjust along the way. To apply the 10x rule, begin by setting higher goals, goals that inspire you and push you to take massive action. Eliminate any excuses holding you back and commit to moving forward immediately. Build momentum by taking consistent, bold steps every single day. Success isn't a one-time effort. It's a lifestyle that requires urgency, persistence, and focus. If you're waiting for the right moment, understand that it doesn't exist. The time to start is now. As you take action, you'll figure out the details and solutions along the way. Success rewards those who act, not those who hesitate. The 10x rule challenges you to aim higher, work harder, and commit to taking relentless action in pursuit of your goals. By adopting a mindset of massive action, eliminating excuses, and striving for domination rather than mediocrity, you position yourself for extraordinary results. Grant Cardone's principles remind us that success is not reserved for the lucky. It's earned by those willing to think and act on a 10x level. If you're ready to take control of your life and achieve success far beyond what you thought possible, the 10x rule is your roadmap to making it happen.